Well, let's bring in Kolawole Johnson, the head of research at ACT for Positive Transformation Initiative. Well, he wrote a petition against the Nddc management for allegedly embezzling the scholarship funds of Niger Delta students sent overseas. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we will come to that petition that you wrote and what the outcome has been following that petition. But let's talk about this forensic audit of almost 20 years of the Nddc and other interventionist programs of the federal government. What do you make of the revelations coming out so far? 13,000 projects substantially compromised, 362 bank accounts, leading to what the Attorney General refers to as a lack of proper reconciliation of accounts. What do you make of this?
Well, first, perhaps because we have done a lot of work on the commission, so it's not new to us. We have been raising alarm, not just with that petition. We started long before then, and I think this clearly gave credence to most of the things we have been bringing out to the public before now. However, by the time we see the details of the report, then we should be able to compare notes with what we have. Of course, our research didn't cover the entire period, but the few years we have, we'll be able to see if truly the auditors did thorough work. We should be seeing beyond the figures of the number of projects abandoned. Of course, that's most of these things, we know that before. Go to the Niger Delta, you will see abandoned projects everywhere. Now, what we should be seeing should be the economic impact of this. And we should be seeing the disparity. For example, if a project that shouldn't worth more than 10 naira is awarded for 20 naira, then those details perhaps will be the tools to work with and to ensure that those who are involved are meant to pay for this. The same thing we've been saying before now, that the people cannot be wallowing in poverty. Why some few politicians take all that belong to the people. And guess what? It hasn't stopped till now, till date, even when the forensic audit.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
All right. The president is hinting that the federal government will initiate criminal investigations, prosecution, and funds recovery against contractors, against firms, and of course politicians indicted by this report. Of course, according to him, 6 trillion naira has been given to the Nddc since 2001 with no commensurate, development, improvement in the Niger Delta. What's your thinking about what the president is saying?
Why I wouldn't like to play with figures, so it won't look as though you're dancing to the tune of the thieves and the and the criminals. We should be looking at the seriousness of the government to get this done.
I think we should check our words, not to call people names or say thieves and criminals. Let's just be decent.
Now, clearly, if people have stolen funds that belong to the people, I don't think we should call them
allegedly until the court proves otherwise.
Yeah.
So let's stay within the realms of courtesy.
The realms of courtesy. Okay, I agree. However, for example, take what we had then. We brought papers to the table. We brought documents to the table showing clearly that funds were stolen by some people, showing clearly that folks received money for contract execution, and you can't find any contract on ground. So if you don't want me to call them criminals, fine, maybe for today. Okay, but let's move ahead from that. We should be also looking at the seriousness of the government to get this done. How? Why am I saying this? Now, when we brought allegations of fraud against the last interim committee, the government seems to do nothing, or appear to do nothing. I remember at first, the president said he was going to wait for the report of the National Assembly. By the way, we were the first to write to the National Assembly to call their attention before the probe, panel that they set up. However, we were caught between dialectical materialism, two class fighting themselves over matter. But when the report came, what exactly did the president do to address those allegations? Number two, even when those guys were kicked out, they weren't kicked out on the strength of the allegations that we raised. So if those ones that happened right under this government, nothing was done, we should also be raising doubts if truly they will be serious enough to also go after those who had stolen. By the way, whether we do this or not, a time will come when those who are serious enough to recover money that belong to the people stolen by few, of course, will do it.
Okay, let's talk about some of the recommendations in this report. That board members should serve on a part-time basis, and, well, part of the recommendations also that they're recommending the deduction of 15% ecological funds at source and be paid to the Nddc, as both the federal and state governments have actually observed these deductions only in the breach. What do you make of these recommendations? And of course that the FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, should collect funds on behalf of the Nddc.
If you understand how the commission gets their fund, then we may have reasons to query some of these recommendations. For example,
why?
Now the government each year would give some certain allocation to the commission, but that is not all there is on the funding of the commission. They got money directly from the oil companies. Now, are you saying that FIRS would be collecting for the commission money coming from the oil companies? Those are the question. Yes, till date, there are monies allocated to the commission by the federal government that the commission, they are yet to get. However, they've been living on the strength of money gotten from the oil companies. So are we going to appoint FIRS to be collecting money for the commission from the oil companies?
That's what they're recommending.
Because of want of time. That's what they're recommending. Yeah. And when it's adopted, then that will be carried out. But let me just, want of time. A report has it that you called on the federal government to come to the aid of the students, even if it means bending the rules. I want to understand what you mean by bending the rules.
At the beginning of our struggle, it wasn't about the student. It was about the fact that we noticed that 2013, the budget underperformed, but some specific items in that budget outperformed, some 120%, and we discovered that those units were specific, were what they call water, hyacinth, and the silting project. And these are money for the boys. You get to the site and you see that nothing is done. So we called the attention. But while we started investigating further, we now saw that the rock was beyond that. We saw that monies meant for scholarship were being shared by those who should be in charge of it.
So what has been the response since you made this, in 30 seconds, please, if you can?
Of course, the government responded, but there are still students till date who are yet to get what belonged to them, but a lot of them, of course, got their form.
All right, Kolawole, lack of time. You didn't get to answer what you meant by bending the rules, but that's why we'll stop it. Kolawole Johnson, the head of the research at Act for Positive Transformation Initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.